Hello, welcome to another vlog. This one is super special because this video we're only going to be talking about Bridgerton. It is currently about 9 o'clock Thursday night, the night before Bridgerton drops. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to watch any on Friday. I am one of the few people, it seems like, who did not take Friday off to watch Bridgerton all day. But that's okay. Work means money to buy the kitty food and to buy more books. Huh. Yeah, it's important we get kitty food. She is right here screaming at me. Will you say hi? What are you doing? Okay, put the bed down. So I just wanted to do a little bit yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was Tuesday. But I just recently finished a rewatch of season 1 of Bridgerton. And so I just kind of wanted to give like my generic thoughts. I wasn't on BookTube when season 1 of Bridgerton came out. And I didn't really post about it at all on my blog. So I just kind of wanted to give my impressions and go over some things that I'm hoping that we see in season 2. So I really enjoyed season 1, but as a book lover, there were some things that kind of bothered me. And I feel like that's common with a lot of people that have read the books before watching season 1. First off is Marina and that whole storyline with Colin. I also did not like Colin was a lot more serious in season 1 than he was in the books. And I did read an article, I want to say in Entertainment Weekly, that, you know, they're kind of bringing out more of his quirky aspects, like the fact that he is obsessed and loves food, and that he's supposed to be a little bit more closer to the way that book Colin was. And then I also heard oh my gosh, you're hitting buttons on my computer, cat. She just walks across the keyboard. I swear some days. But, so, I also kind of heard the same thing of Anthony. I did not like the Sienna storyline at all. Did not like it. Did not like the way Anthony was portrayed. He is kind of lost and not 100% sure of what's going on. He does make some mistakes in the book. However, he is never as disrespectful to his mother as he was in the show. And I really didn't like that. But I have heard that, you know, he kind of got a little bit of a revamp as well. But they might be playing it off of what happened with Sienna. Now, my issue with Sienna is Anthony's like big hang up, I guess, is his father's death. And his father passed away, I want to say in his like mid to late 30s. Maybe it was early 40s, but I know it's like coming close-ish to Anthony's age. And so he wants to get married and have an heir. However, Anthony does not want to marry for love, despite his parents having some amazing big love match, because he saw how absolutely wrecked that his mother was when his father passed, and he does not want the same to happen to his wife. He doesn't want his wife so completely devastated when he passes. Now, because his father passed young, Anthony cannot fathom the fact that he will most likely live longer than his father did. Live past that age. A lot of people, I know, I was a part of a read-along of Bridgerton before the first season came out, and a lot of people just did not understand that or just thought it was kind of a silly thing. But I didn't think it was that silly. But having reread the book after my mother passed, Alexa dismiss, I can understand that a lot. My mother passed in her late 40s. And the fact that I am now approaching 33, I will be 33 in June this year. I most likely will live older than my mother did. And I know objectively, see, look, I'm getting all sappy here. I know objectively that I most likely will. And that, anything can happen, blah, blah, blah. But it is hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that I'll be on this earth longer than my mother was. And I don't know. It's just when you lose someone at a young age, and unexpectedly, my mother was very unexpected as well, like Edmund was, which is Anthony's father. I understand it, and I connect with it so much more. I haven't quite gotten to the place Anthony took it to, but I do really understand the fact that he just cannot fathom that he will live longer than his father. Even more so because he saw his father as such a good person and a great father and a great viscount and a great husband and all these wonderful things. And he also kind of feels adrift because he doesn't have his father. And when his father passed, he was still kind of in his playboy ways. Not that he isn't at the beginning of this book or in The Duke and I, but he's younger. So he's more in his playboy ways. And he doesn't have the responsibility of being the viscount and the head of the family on him yet. So, I don't know. I just can really, really connect to Anthony. And I'm not the biggest fan of enemies to lovers. And it is kind of an enemies to lovers as well between Anthony and Kate. But it's just done so masterfully. I love Anthony and Kate. But yeah, anyway, before we continue on talking about season 2 and the Viscount Who Loved Me. So the Duke and I did now. One thing that really, really sticks in my craw about season 1. Simon never says that he never says, I love you to Daphne. Never. He tries to say it at some point, or he says, and then he stops. And Daphne kind of stops him, or she's just like, it's fine, you don't have to say it, or something like that. And we can see the love he has for her. But he never says, I love you to Daphne. So one of the things I need in season 2 is for Anthony to tell Kate that he loves her. Because this is based off of freaking romance, people. That's part of them admitting and finally trusting in the feelings that are going on inside, is verbally telling them and saying them out loud in a sense of realization and affirmation for their partner. But so yeah, those are some of the big things that really bothered me. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Marina. That's a whole thing. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know what's going on, but in case you haven't, I'll kind of touch briefly on it. So Marina is actually in the books a cousin of the Bridgertons, not the Feathertons. Although she's not really a cousin of the Feathertons, because rewatching it, he took her in because of a gambling debt. So it's never actually said 100% or proven 100% if Marina is actually cousin to the Featheringtons, and if the father just said that as an excuse to bring her in without it being kind of questioned by the ton. Just throwing that out there. But we'll just say she's the cousin of the Featheringtons, because that's what at least they said. So in the books, she is cousins to the Bridgertons, and she does marry Sir Philip. And this is kind of a spoiler alert to book 5, which is Eloise and Sir Philip's book. And Marina commits suicide thanks to depression, what seems like postpartum depression, and she has twins. They are not Philip's. If I remember correctly, they are not Philip's, but Philip treats these kids as his own. They are his kids, just not biologically. But, so I don't know what's going on there. The Featherington's father does not die in the books, so I don't know what's going to happen there, who the new heir is going to be. There's kind of some speculations going around that maybe it's somebody related to Francesca's hero. So I don't know. There's a lot kind of going up in the air, and I understand changes because the show is a different medium and different than the books, and you do want them to be differentiated enough that they are two separate kinds of works. But I feel like some of these things, too much liberty was taken. And for me, and maybe it's because The Viscount Who Loved Me is my favorite book, and Anthony and Kate are my favorite couple, I do not like the Sienna stuff, because a big reason, I don't understand why they made him love Sienna. Maybe obsession, and maybe it'll come out and he'll say he didn't really love her and all this stuff, but the thing about him and Kate is he was so against loving anybody at all. And Kate is the first and only person he loves romantically. Not that a man can't have more than one love, but part of the magic of their story is them both being each other's first love, to me. And I just love them. So, we'll kind of stop talking about, there's more issues I have with the first season, but overall, I love the season. I love most of the casting choices. And I love what they're doing with the Queen and some of the other additions. Lady Danbury's amazing. And I was super surprised that Penelope was exposed as Lady Whistledown in the first season, I do also kind of understand it, because at the time, I don't think it was 100% sure that there were 4 seasons approved. And I also heard somebody kind of mention that it might be harder to keep TV audiences sucked into the mystery of who it is until it would happen in the same time frame, because in the same time frame it would happen halfway-ish or a couple episodes into season 4 that the viewers would find out. But now they're kind of in on the secret from get-go, which I also saw Julia Quinn mention. She's just like, all they have to do is Google it, because it's been out. The books have been out forever. So there's also that. All the readers knew who it was going in and all that. But anyway, so let me just kind of talk about things I want from season 2, or what I'm looking for in season 2. Let me take a drink. I've been doing a lot of talking. Might help if I swallow correctly. Okay, so things that I want to see in the second season of Bridgerton. I know they can't have all of it. So there were things that I was hoping for that we've seen from teasers and photos that we are going to get. We're going to get the Pall Mall scene, the Mallet of Death. Newton is going to be there. That was kind of are they going to bring Newton? Or are they not going to bring Newton? Are they going to bring Newton? So those are 2 big things that we know for sure are going to be in there. So I'm not going to mention those outside of the fact that, oh my gosh, if you haven't read the books and you don't really know much about what's going on, those are 2 big things from the books that everybody loves. Now, the scenes that I want to see. One of my favorite scenes is, I think it's in the library at Audrey Hall. Aubrey? I can't remember. Oh my gosh. I'm a bad fan. I think it's Aubrey. But anyway, Kate has a trauma, so that when there are thunderstorms, and it has to do with in relation to her mother's passing, is she gets night terrors with thunderstorms. She cannot sleep. She gets panic attacks. And during a thunderstorm, when they're at the house party at the Bridgerton's place, she is in the library and she's just kind of terrified, and she's hiding in, I want to say, like a cupboard or something like that. And Anthony calms her down and he's there. It is one of my favorite scenes because just him finally realizing, because she is very sassy. She is on point. She does not let Anthony slide on anything. And this moment of vulnerability that Anthony sees from Kate just completely, like, he had his, like, his perspective on her was changing. But that moment, it's just like flipped. And he's like, ugh, I can't stop it anymore. I can't stop myself from falling for her. And it's gone. So I really, really, really need to see that. Now, a lot of people have talked about this, but the whole bee sting thing, which I'm sure we're going to see. Now, I was nervous and cautiously optimistic, and then I was really excited when I saw the full teaser trailer. I have not really looked at anything else, except they did like a sneak peek video where there was an interview with Julia Quinn, and then some popular romance booktubers were asked to go to Netflix, and they saw sneak peeks and were able to ask Julia Quinn questions. It was via video or whatever. They weren't there in person, or Julia Quinn wasn't there in person with them. But some things were mentioned in that have me nervous again. Now, it is kind of set up like a love triangle because Anthony is actively pursuing Edwina, Kate's younger sister. However, from the get-go, Anthony is going after her because he knows he will not fall in love with her and that she is not his type, and he's going after her because she's like the new diamond of the season, and so she would be a good Viscountess. Now, and then him and Kate end up falling in love. So it's not really a love triangle because there's really no feelings outside of just generic care as a human being, and then eventually like more of a brother-sister kind of a relationship between Anthony and Edwina. But Julia Quinn mentioned in this interview that the love triangle was like amped up or something. I hope not. I hope it's not made into a real love triangle. I really hope it's not made into a real love triangle. And I can see maybe, like, if Edwina more falls for Anthony or is more interested in Anthony as a husband and more open to courting him for real, then I can understand that. But I don't want it to be a love triangle. So I'm nervous about that now. And then there was something mentioned about traumas. And she said something like, not all of them made it. So we might not get Kate's trauma with thunderstorms. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because that is a huge part of her character. And that's also a way, because her mother dies when she's young, and she has such an amazing relationship with Mary, her stepmother, and that is something I really want to be present as well, is the amazing relationship between Mary and Kate, and then also Kate and Edwina. Like, they are so close in the book, and they're just three girls against the world, and it's not an evil stepmom. They're doing everything they can in the best interest for each other. And Mary and Kate have real mother-daughter love between them. And so I really want to see that as well. I think that's a really good important thing. Even more so in this type of media, to have the good stepmother. And just to show that, I don't know, more diversity in that way, that you can be a stepmom and still be a good parent and have a good relationship with your children, whether their other parent has passed or you're being added into the family via divorce or whatever. So I really hope that they have a really good relationship. Other scenes that I really want. I mean, a lot of them are kind of going around and people are talking about, the bee sting scene, the office scene where Anthony kind of tries to have an interlude with his mistress, who's an opera singer, which would be Sienna in this case. He does not love her in the books, but Kate was in the office trying to find some peace and quiet from this party, and she hides under the desk, and then Anthony sees her and he ends up making his mistress leaves, and then him and Kate have banter, and that's a great scene. I mean, from the clips I've seen, I think Jonathan and Simone have great chemistry, and we've seen some of their little snippy banter scenes, and I think that those are done really well. So they have good chemistry, and I'm excited to see the banter. I do want more family time together, and I think with Anthony being the head of the Bridgertons, we might get more family time. I also want more Francesca. She was in 4 scenes, so we need more Francesca. And I heard somebody kind of mention, maybe we aren't seeing much of Francesca because her book, when we get to her book, she is living outside of the Bridgerton house. She's a widow, and her relationship is with the cousin or her husband's best friend, or maybe he's both the cousin and the best friend or something like that, or maybe they're brothers. I can't remember 100%, but they're somehow related. So they were 3 best friends all the time. And then when her husband dies a couple of years later, Michael and her start a relationship. So she is living it at her husband's estate. So she is not in the country seat or the London townhome at all. So I saw somebody say that maybe they were just kind of prepping us for Francesca's story because it's not with the other Bridgertons as well, but she should be there. And I don't know if there was conflicts during the first season for the actress who played Francesca. She was doing other projects or something. I never really looked into it too much. She just wasn't really there except for in the beginning and then at the end of the season. But so yeah, I know that there's more that I'm wanting, but I'm trying not to, I'm trying to keep, I'm excited for it. And I have high expectations, partly because this is my favorite Bridgerton book. But I am trying not to expect too much because I don't want to ruin my enjoyment of the series. But I was really excited. And then when I saw that interview where it was kind of some mentions of some more things changing, it made me a little bit more nervous again. I can't lie. I don't know. But so before I kind of wrap up my thoughts before watching the second season, I will kind of do a rating. So for season 1, I think I would rate it like Daphne and Simon's part, which is the main story of season 1. I think I would rate it an 8.5 out of 10. But for the season as a whole, I think I would probably give it more 7.5. Just because there were some things the Marina thing was annoying and the Sienna thing was annoying. And there were other additions that I enjoyed, the Queen and Simon's friends. And I mean, Lady Danbury was awesome. And I love all the casting for everybody. But those were like, if it was just the Sienna thing or the Marina thing, that would be one thing. But because there were those two big things, I was just like, ugh. I really want, like, I thought about fast forwarding through all of those scenes with them, and I was just like, I can't, because I was rewatching it while I was working on things. So I was just like, I'm gonna lose a lot of the footage that I'm watching. But yeah. Also, as a side note, I just want to mention there's a lot of bee symbology in here, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's cool that there's so much bee stuff, but a bee is what killed Edmund. That's weird to kind of pay homage to the cause of the father's death. Like, it's a little too much. Like, I understand, like, we'll see like a bee on a doorknob, or at the end of season 1 there's a bee on a windowsill and then it flies away, and so like those I understand. But like, Eloise has bees in her elaborate hairdos, and Benedict has bees stitched onto his undershirts, and there's like bees on their clothing and on their jewelry and stuff, and I'm just like, why would you pay, like, if you're using it as a remembrance of your father, wouldn't you choose something that your father enjoyed or loved, or like something else to represent him outside of the animals that killed him? But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I just think it's weird. And bees are also coming back in trends, so I don't know if it's because of Bridgerton or not, but I don't know. I've just been seeing bee things everywhere. But yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling for now. And next time I see you, shortly in a moment here, I will be letting you know what I think of the first episode of Bridgerton season 2. Hello, future Stacy here. I'm just popping in to do a little warning. While I was vlogging, if you haven't already seen some of the thoughts about Bridgerton going on, I got highly emotional and a little bit more negative than I usually do, but I was way wrapped up in my feels, and I was a little hurt at some things that kind of happened. And you know, if they were looking to affect your emotions and affect the watcher's emotions, so they get my emotions. Maybe not in the way they wanted to, but they got my emotions. So I just wanted to do a little warning, or just a heads up clip, just to let you know, it'll be a little, I'll be a little over emotional. I don't know if I actually cried in any of my clips, but I did cry several times watching Bridgerton, so it definitely got me in the feels. But I just wanted to do a little warning. You will see me, I'm gonna later on at the end of the video, I filmed a wrap up kind of a thing a few days after I watched Bridgerton, to kind of settle with my thoughts and just decompress from my emotions and think about how I really felt about what happened. And then I was able to kind of watch what some other people thought and see if it either helped me process or changed my point of view slightly on what happened. And then I was also able to kind of talk it out with some people. But anyway, I just wanted to pop in and be like, warning, over emotionals, high emotions are coming at you soon. But I will see you back a little more calmly. Although I do rinse and ramble a little bit, but I will be a lot more calm when you see me at the end of the video. But have fun. Happy Saturday. I've got this cute little thing in my lap. And I just finished episode 1 of season 2 of Bridgerton. Capital R is for rake. Capital R for rake. Something like that. I don't know. I enjoyed seeing everybody again. I mean, Lady Danbury and the Queen are just amazing. The best. Penelope and Eloise together. They are friendship goals for sure. I love Eloise in the show. She just when she was like presenting to the queen, and she was so absolutely nervous and terrified, even more so because of the whole Whistledown stuff from season 1. Oh, Eloise. And I get it that I loved that there was a scene where Penelope and Eloise kind of leave the ball and they find like a daffodil field somewhere, which I don't know why there's a daffodil field there, but whatever. And they're kind of talking, and Eloise is talking about how when she walks into a room, she feels like everybody's looking at her, and that, you know, they're comparing her to Daphne and finding her wanting. And I mean, it broke my heart, and just how she feels like just walking into a room, she has disappointed so many people. And then Penelope talks about how while she does find her amusement going to all the 10 events, that she just feels invisible, and that gives her a sort of freedom to find amusement in these different events. And the way that they just kind of connect over it. I love Penelope and Eloise. They're friend goals. They're squad goals, whatever the saying is. So, I love it. I love it. Daphne and Kate. Or Daphne and Kate. Anthony and Kate. I enjoyed the banner. We do get the scene in this first episode that was like one of the first real clips released, where Kate kind of gives Anthony a what for. And while I enjoyed that scene, and that scene was like, that clip was very exciting, I don't know. I know Anthony has some growing to do, but I don't like the way that he's talking about women. That is different from Book Anthony. Like, Book Anthony very much doesn't want to find a wife to love. And while he may be posturing for the other gentleman, it didn't sit right. It didn't sit right with me, if I'm honest. And then their banter is a little more antagonistic. And while the situation that causes the banter in the books might be slightly antagonistic or argumentative or whatever, they both get a certain enjoyment of the banter and the quips back and forth. And I feel like that's only on Anthony's side right now, that he is just intrigued by her and he's enjoying it, but she's just so, I don't know. I did not reread The Viscount Who Loved Me before watching this, because I didn't want it to be too fresh in my mind, because it is my favorite book. But I feel like I might reread it after watching it, so I can kind of get my thoughts a little more, and I might do like a season review as a whole as a separate video, but I know a lot of people are doing that, but we'll see what happens. Or I might just do it when I vlog reading it, and this is if I decide to pick it up, but I don't know. It was a good start. I will say, I'm very, very apprehensive going in, though. Even more so than when I filmed my, like, what I'm looking for clip that you guys just saw, but I filmed a couple days ago. I did not look at any spoilers. I did see in a non-spoiler post of someone who watched it that was just like, rate the season as a whole. I've seen a lot of 6.5 out of 10s. And then I saw one person post like episodes 1 and 2, and I think 1 and 2 and maybe 3, or it's 1 and 2 and then like 8 they gave 5 stars, and then if 3 wasn't a 5-star, then 3 is a maybe it's 1 and 2 and 8, And then 3 and 7. Yeah, 3 and 7 were 4 stars. And then 4, 5, and 6, they put the trash emoji. So, yeah, I'm getting kind of nervous. And maybe just my extremely lowered expectations will mean that I enjoy this more because I'm expecting it to be absolutely horrible. But I gotta say, I've seen a lot of non-spoiler posts or just GIF reactions from people I trust who I know love the books as much as I do, and they were kind of disappointed. And I saw someone post that something like, Shonda Land, this is a Shonda Land guide to make you hate book characters that you absolutely love, or something like that. So I'm really nervous. But we'll keep going. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to start season 2. Episode 2 is off to the races. I just switched my laundry, so I should be good to watch this. And then I'm trying to pair them up so like I can switch my laundry, film a clip, and then watch an episode, and then I'll go back and switch my laundry or whatever. So alrighty. I will be back soon to chat about episode 2 season. So I just finished episode 2, Off to the Races. I feel like there's a lot more going on, and there are other storylines going on kind of similar to the first book, but I was kind of hoping that there would be more development because it's only 8 episodes. And I don't know if they're going to keep the same format as the book or as the first season where they get married halfway-ish through, maybe a little over halfway through. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I forgot to mention in the beginning we get the Featherington's new heir. And so I don't really know what's going on with him. His name's Jack. I don't know if I don't remember Jack in the books, but it's been a while since I've reread all of the books, so I'm not sure. I don't know. And it seems like he's courting Cressida, which is weird. I don't know. We got to see Penelope's sister marry Mr. Finch, so that was really cute. And then Eloise is trying to track down Lady Whistledown and still, so there's that going on. And I don't know, and Colin's back, so that was exciting, and so we get to hear a little bit about his travels. So I feel like the books or things are being kind of slightly sped up because I know that like Penelope's book and Eloise's book happens at the same time. My fingertips look weird. So yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm just like nervous or what's going on, but I don't know. There's a lot of longing glances between Kate and Anthony, and I almost feel, and maybe this is me projecting because I have read the books, but I almost feel like Kate is pushing against Edwina being so hard with Anthony because she likes him for herself. I don't know what's going on here. But we'll see. But that, like I said, that could be me projecting book Kate onto this Kate. It seems like Edwina's a lot more taken with Anthony than in the books, where in the book she was just happy to go along with the courtship, but she knew that she didn't love him. And Anthony kind of seems to start, I don't know. He's like pursuing Edwina really, really hard. And like I've mentioned, I'm going to wait to reread the book till after I watch this, but I feel like it's less, but maybe it's not. And I could just be making stuff up this entire time, but I'm still enjoying it. But I am very tentative after I discussed before seeing the different reviews and just like overall feelings of the show, that now is where we are going to kind of taper off a little bit. But I'm trying to think. I don't know what to think of the Featheringtons' new person yet. And there's something weird going on between him and Lady Featherington. So I don't know what's happening there. I can't quite tell how old he is. But he's cousin Jack. So is what Penelope calls him. So, I don't know. We'll see. And oh my god, poor Penelope got friend zoned so hard by Colin. Which happens. But poor Penelope. I don't know. I'm still enjoying it. But I'm very cautious and I'm very tentative on like putting out full opinions until I've watched all of it. But I at least wanted to do a little update to be like, this is where I'm at. Here is what I think so far. So yeah, I'm gonna go switch my laundry and then I will start episode 3, A Bee in Your Bonnet. Let's see what episode 3 brings. All right, I'll see you soon. I just started episode 3. And Edmund. It's a good thing I'm getting kitty cuddles right now because I love Edmund and Violet so much. This is gonna get me. I'm less than 2 minutes in and I've already like started tearing up. They went straight for the jugular. The first time we see Edmund is that scene. They changed it from the book, but that's okay, I guess. But the first time we see Edmund, this is it. When he was picking hyacinths when the bee stung him. Okay, episode 3 was a complete roller coaster. I understand when they, like when TV shows and things, try to alleviate like more depressing and sad moments with funny moments. But that was a little too much all over the place. Because we started with the flashback of Edmund passing. And then I don't remember if it was, I think that was when everybody arrived at Aubrey Hall for the house party. Well, it's just the Charmers are the only ones there, so they haven't done the full house party kind of a thing yet. But, and then we get flashback of Violet giving birth to Hyacinth and just different scenes dealing with, I mean, mainly Anthony and Violet's grief in losing Edmund. And these are all interspersed with funny moments and like important moments that fans were waiting for, like the Pall Mall scene, which it wasn't a lake, it was a giant like mud puddle, but that's okay. I didn't mind the mud puddle. The lake is still more fun, but I know because we've seen from the teaser trailer that we will get lake scenes in the future. They are certainly And I was kind of worried about this based on what I saw Julia Quinn say, but they are definitely pulling out the stops for a full-on love triangle here. And I'm not. I don't like love triangles. We also got the bee sting scene, which I feel like is kind of early on. And while we didn't get the craziness of Anthony trying to suck the bee venom out of Kate's chest, I did like the scene, and like when she put his hand on her heart and she put her hand over his heart to kind of help get him breathing back to normal. And just the intimate moment between them, I really, really, really liked, because you could see that they were just in their own world. And then that sudden pop of like the servants or whoever in the background talking jolted them out of it. And it was I really enjoyed the scene, even though it wasn't like the book. I still enjoyed it, but we did not get the marriage of convenience from it. So episode 4 is next. And we still don't have like that was the first really indication. If you hadn't read the books before, outside of just them glancing at each other from time to time, you don't really get the indication that Kate and Anthony are supposed to be together. So I'm not happy about that, because we're almost halfway through and there's like no, until that scene at the very end of episode 3, there's no relationship progression for them at all. I mean, outside of, I guess, she's not as antagonistic toward him, but still. And I love Kate and Eloise together. That was really fun. I like seeing them together. And I absolutely love Lady Danbury and Violet's friendship. It was a bright spot in the first season, and I love it continuing through this season. I love them together. And there's a scene where they're both like listening at the doors, and then Lady Danbury's up on the stairs and Violet's down below in like a corridor thing, and they're looking at each other and they're just like spreading their, like, talking about the situation through their eyes to each other. And Eloise walks by and she's like, do I even want to know? I love it. I really do like it. I'm getting nervous with the writing though, because it's starting to take some turns and it's starting to twist things. And I can see where some of the more overt changes in the overall storyline are changing. And so I'm getting a little nervous about that. But the Pall Mall scene was great. I loved it. It was done really well. Although in the book, I do like that they declare Kate the winner because she bested Anthony. So I do wish that they would have done that again, but that's okay. Those little things that just kick a scene up another level is what's missing to me. It's like, I almost feel like, and I get they need to change it, but if they're going to incorporate a scene in the book, I feel like the writers aren't getting all of the intentions that were behind the scene, or all of what that scene indicates or leads to further in the storyline. So I feel like it's just like it's really, really good, but it's just not, like, it's not great, you know? But I'm gonna go check my laundry. There's my laundry to fold here. I mean, this one is mostly like blankets and my bed sheets. I did my bed stuff today, so it looks worse than it is, but I'll fold it later. I still have my last load in the dryer, which is cool because I will be done today, hopefully sometime soon. So once that's done, I'm done with laundry at least. And I'm doing like fancy sandwiches for lunches next week, so I don't have to do any like meal preparation or anything this weekend either. We're going fairly simple this week, and because I knew I was running out of time, and I already have next week's vlog uploading, so I am like ahead on videos, so I'm just like, I'm killing it today, and I'm pretty happy. I'm hoping I can get a lot done today and get most of this filmed, but I'm gonna get back to watching Bridgerton after I go check my laundry. So up next is season 4. It says it's called Victory, and I did not look at the names before. I heard some people like talking about them on a couple videos I watched, but I didn't like go out and look for the new episode titles. But we'll see what this one is about. I'm guessing that now we'll get the full-blown house party and that everybody else is going to start arriving, because I think it said there was a few days that the Sharmers were going to be there before everybody else. So we'll see what happens. But I will be back soon after I watch episode 4. What? What the heck? Anthony just proposed to Edwina. I liked episode 4 up until that moment. What the heck? I get it now. I get it why people are upset. I get it now. I get it now. I am also upset. Oh, this engagement better be over really quick. This better... Oh, no. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Well, I'm going to start season 5, episode 5, An Unthinkable Fate. Because what in... I guess other things that I can mention. Prudence is now engaged to Lord Featherington, which is very weird. So I don't know what's going on there. This is all getting really weird with the Featheringtons. And it was interesting that Colin went to see Marina, so we did get to see Oliver. And so she did have twins. So I'm intrigued to see how this is going to work, building up into Eloise's relationship. That was the first real major change that I am not okay with. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with Anthony proposing to Edwina. The point was, even if he did it to mask his feelings for Kate, utterly ridiculous. Utterly, absolutely ridiculous. And poor Kate. Kate is my jam, and I feel so bad for her. Guys, the angst is real. Alright, I'm gonna move on. I'm just so flabbergasted by this choice, and I don't know what else to say. Except, what the hell were you thinking, writers? But maybe that's the point, is to get reactions out of people. And it's getting a reaction for sure. I don't think it's the kind of reaction that they wanted, though. But, alright, I'm gonna watch episode 5. I now understand why people said the middle episodes they didn't like, so let's see what happens. So I just finished episode 5. And these are characters that have the same names as the Bridgerton books. These are characters that dress in the Regency style, which is the same as the Bridgerton books. This is filmed beautifully. The actors are acting the hell out of the show right now. It looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. But this is not the Viscount who loved me. This is like a really horrible fanfic edition of the Viscount Who Loved Me. And don't get me wrong, I love fanfic. There is good fanfic out there. I've read good fanfic. This is the bad kind of fanfic, where they just clearly don't know the characters. We are back to Anthony being a complete and utter a-hole. I do not like the way that he is talking to Violet. It got a little better in some of the earlier episodes. He snapped a little bit at Daphne, which I wasn't very happy about, but this is not Anthony. This is not Kate. There are moments where I can see Kate. I'm glad that I looked not into spoilers. Like I mentioned before, I just looked to get overall impressions of what people thought. And then I saw some people were rating. And I'm really glad that I did so, because my expectations have been roller coastering the past couple months since we started getting teasers and it got closer and all this other information was coming out. But my excitement was a little bit higher than I expected going into this. But thankfully, other people took the day off and binged it so I could get an idea, because I knew at a certain point it would go downhill, and I expected it to go downhill, and it did go downhill. Not quite in how I was expecting, or I guess kind of how I was expecting. I just wasn't, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Featheringtons. And I get that Eloise is rebellious and she does things, and sometimes she does things without thinking. As in her book where she goes and travels to see Sir Philip all by herself and practically live with him. But she also knew the risks that she was taking, and she knew what she was doing, and she weighed those risks and her safety. Here, she's going to areas she should not go without a freaking chaperone. She is putting herself in danger. In danger. Eloise is smarter than this. She's also completely, cutting out Penelope. I don't know what the hell is going on with Colin. We've hardly seen Daphne, and I get she's married and not there, and it was nice to see her a little bit, but I feel like everybody's off doing their own things, so we aren't getting that good family dynamic throughout. And Kate and Edwina seem off to me too, and I know right now they're arguing over the whole inheritance scheme, whatever, which is fun too, because Anthony Stewart Head, I love him. He was Giles and Buffy, and he was Gallivant's father in Gallivant, and I love him. He was also in Repo, the genetic opera. He was the father. It's been forever since I saw that, but anyway, so that was a pleasant surprise, even though he played a horrible character. But I love Anthony, the actor. I'm disappointed. These aren't my characters. And right now, how I'm feeling is I want to support Bridgerton, and I want to support romance novels being made into TV shows and movies. But it was a big deal. A big deal was made a lot going into season 1. How much was being changed. And I remember a specific interview where I want to say it was Chris Van Dusen, the main producer dude, I think. It was a guy, so I feel like it was him, was like, we are making changes and adapting it to film, but the couples aren't changing and the main overline plot isn't changing. Apparently that was just for season 1. And we're through episode 5. We should be at Kate and Anthony's marriage. And that's one thing I really like about the Bridgerton series, and is in a lot of these books, they get married. And it's not at the end of the book. So we get to see life with them as a married couple and trials and tribulations that married couples deal with and working their way through those and becoming stronger in their marriage. Are they even going to get married in this season? Are they... I am full out questioning the fact that there is going to be an HEA at this point. These are not the same characters. They're just not. It's like those face snatcher people. All right. We have 3 episodes left. Kate and Anthony still haven't even kissed. We saw Anthony have more sex with friggin' Sienna in the entire first, in the first friggin' 3 episodes, and they haven't even kissed, and this is his friggin' season. These are not my characters. These are not my characters. All right. Episode 6. The Choice. Coming soon. So I just finished episode 6. And once again, these are not my characters. These are not my characters. This is not the relationship that Edwina and Kate have. And while yes, at times Kate can be a little overbearing, Edwina always knows that it is in her best interest, and it is because Kate is doing everything she can for her sister to have a happy and well cared for life. But the happiness is the biggest thing. They keep calling the whole Edwina and Anthony thing a scheme, their marriage a scheme, and that Kate and Anthony schemed this marriage up. It was not. Okay, the whole inheritance thing, okay, that was kind of a scheme, but that was unnecessary. Unnecessary. There's enough friggin' angst and tension going on without the whole inheritance thing. That was too much. Too much. And then the fact when Edwina realizes that Kate can't say that she doesn't love Anthony, Edwina is saying that, Kate is ruining her, it's all on Kate. It's all on Kate. I need to take a breath. Kate did not want Edwina. Kate did not want you to marry Anthony or court Anthony or even deal with Anthony at all. You were the one that convinced her that you were interested in Anthony. Edwina was the one who pushed Kate and Anthony together to become more friendly, to have a better relationship, so she would feel more comfortable if she married Anthony, that her sister wasn't going to be pushed aside, that she would still be able to be a part of the family. Kate stopped fighting against Edwina and Anthony because Edwina said that's what she wanted. Kate didn't scheme up this idea for her and Anthony to get together. She just wanted her to marry anybody. She kept saying, you have choices. You're the diamond of the season. Anyone would be happy to love you. Anyone would be happy to have you as a wife. And yet Edwina takes it out on Kate because Kate fell in love with Anthony. How about we take a step back in Edwina instead of focusing on her lying to you again? How about the fact that your sister sacrificed someone that she loved because you said you loved him? And how could you not when he stood up against the Sheffields? How about recognizing the fact that Kate loves this man? It could be past tense at this point. And she didn't push for him and her to have a relationship because you said that was what you wanted. And I know I'm switching back between yelling at Edwina and yelling at and saying in the third person, but my heart broke for Kate. My heart broke for Kate. And then Edwina's whole speech about how, I'm sorry, I'm holding this and I'm like trying to find a good area where I'm not super shadowy. But the whole speech that Edwina gives at the end where Kate doesn't have the power anymore. All she wanted was for you to be happy. She backed off on saying don't marry, don't court, don't hang out with Anthony Bridgerton because you told her to. There's 2 episodes left. Anthony and Kate have finally kissed, but I just gotta leave it. These are not my characters. These are not the characters that I fell in love with. They're just not. They're not my characters. So next episode is titled Harmony. I'm going to be done rambling. I've already decided, even though I need to read the Smart Women Read Romance book for Tuesday, I'm going to pick up the Viscount Who Loved Me when I am done watching this, and I'm going to read it and get everything that I needed from this, if not more. Even if Kate and Anthony magically end up together and get an HEA, it won't feel like it. But you know, season 1 didn't really feel like it had an HEA anyway. Because Daphne and Simon's problems were solved because of the rainstorm. And Simon never said he freaking loved her. I'm still butthurt about that, and I'll be butthurt about that for the rest of my freaking life. And Anthony was a complete dick to Daphne again. Complete. Don't take out the fact that you are choosing to marry somebody that you don't love. Even more so, when you are falling in love with her sister, do not take that out on Daphne when she is calling you out on your BS. These are not my characters. These are not my characters. Let's see how angry episode 7 makes me. So, what the heck was that ending? What was that ending? I know that this is Shonda, and this is Shonda Land. But this doesn't need to go the route of Grey's Anatomy, which I haven't watched the last couple seasons of. Why the hell is Kate unconscious? Tension that is not needed. Extra crap is thrown into this that is not needed. If what the writers are trying to do is find a way for Anthony to realize he loves Kate, send her back to India and just be like, me and my sister. Her sister is just like, this is not Edwina. These are not my characters. These are not my characters. I just have to remember that these are not my characters. not happy with any of the storylines that are going on right now. I think the only one I'm okay with is that Lady Danbury and Violet are still friends and friendly. But that's it. The whole Queen thing, thinking Eloise is Miss Whistledown. I'm over it. Penelope. First of all, I didn't really bring it up, but the fact that Penelope, like, I knew she needed help in doing things, but the fact that Penelope confides in the modiste, fine, whatever. If you have to give her somebody, fine, whatever. I feel like at some point in the books, she does write something fairly scathing about Eloise. I don't feel like it was as bad as what happened in the show, but I feel like there is suspicion on Eloise or the Bridgertons or something, so she does write something kind of scathing towards them. I remember at some point, and I did like that we saw how broken up Penelope was about that, because there were bits in the teasers where it almost made it seem like they were going to do her more as a villain. But the Featheringtons are like villains this season. I don't know what the hell is going on with this investment scheme that's with Cousin Jack and her mom. And then they're like flirting, and I'm just like, but he's engaged to her daughter. This is just getting... It's too much. It's too much. It is turning into a Shonda show, which, don't get me wrong, I loved Shondaland shows. I loved For the People. I wish that came back. I adored Private Practice. I really liked Grey's Anatomy. I haven't watched the past few seasons because I got in a situation where I didn't have TV anymore, and then I just never found the time to catch back up, and now it's just like, I'm like several seasons behind, so it's a lot to catch up on. And then Scandal. I mean, Scandal was amazing, but... And it's the writers and not Shonda herself. I know that. But this is just too much. Too much. It is being dragged from the book. And the good storytelling that was there. If you need to change things, change things. But don't over Shonda it. Because it started out as such a good thing. I have one episode left. And then this is over. I pulled down one of my paperback copies. I have a lot of different copies, but I grabbed this one because I didn't have the red cover, and at one point I decided I thought about getting every copy of the Viscount Who Loved Me because it was my favorite, but because I waited so long, I got the one with the stupid Netflix thing on it. Which, if it's the TV tie-in, whatever, but... And I don't know... So... I want to keep supporting Julia Quinn in the Bridgerton series, and I want to support the fact that romance novels are becoming TV shows and movies and things like that, and good romance novels. However, I do not want to support what this is. So I will be buying anything that's like Julia Quinn related. I was planning on getting the TV tie-in cover of the Viscount Who Loved Me. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm just so... These aren't my characters. And I know I keep saying that, but I have to just keep telling myself, these are not my characters. These are not these characters. They are not. And I'm going to find it very, very interesting to see for people who had not read the books before. And I know that there are quite a few people who didn't realize it was a book series or who picked up the book series after the first season came out. And I know that there are some people who were like going to read each book with each series. And there were some people that were like, I'll watch each one. And then somebody else was like, don't do that. Just read them all. And so they were originally waiting to read the second book till after the second series. And then they were planning on reading the rest. I saw several people say in one of the live shows I was watching from, I don't know, just people talking and theorizing about what the season is going to be. These are not those characters. And I'm pointing at my TV. I just... for how much support, and I still have an episode left, but for how much support romance readers have given this show, have given Shondaland, have given the actors and everything else, and I'm not blaming them. It is all the writers of this show. I said it before. The acting is phenomenal. The costuming's phenomenal. The most of the cinematography has been really nice. There was some weird cinematography at the end of episode 6 that like stood out to me as being too much. And then the same for this last episode where I was just like, we get it. It's a tense situation. You don't have to constantly be moving the camera. Like, keep the camera still. And I feel like when that tactic is used, it's better if it's like you don't notice it happening. But I noticed it, obviously, like trying to unsettle the watcher. It needs to be minute enough that we're getting the effect, but we're not obvious to what's going on. And maybe because I know that's what they do. But I just... These are not my babies. These are my babies. This is my Anthony. This is my Kate. This is my Edwina. Well, let's see how it ends. It's over. Episode 8 is over. Season 2 of Bridgerton is over. I liked that Anthony did say I love you to Kate. We needed entirely a lot more Newton. I was okay. I liked that Edwina and Kate kind of finally had a heart-to-heart. But I wish it didn't take Kate almost freaking dying. And even then, it still didn't feel... like, it still felt slightly superficial. I don't know. I just didn't... I don't know. They kind of tease that Benedict is next. So, in the timeline of Bridgerton, Benedict's love interest is Sophie. And he meets her at a masquerade ball that is held at the Bridgerton's house. And it happens during... I don't think we see it in this book. It's been a little over a year since I reread it, but I know timeline-wise it is in this book. Because then the main portion of Benedict's book is several years, I think, in the future. So I don't know if there's going to be a time jump or what happens, but... I don't know. And then it kind of had like a little epilogue. We get a time jump where after they're married, it's like 6 months later and they're back at Aubrey Hall and they're playing Pall Mall again together and everybody's there, including Benedict. So I don't know. I feel like Benedict's book wasn't 6 months. Plus, I don't know. So I don't, I just don't know. Right now in my feels, I'm conflicted on how to write this. Or how to rate this, not write it. I feel like in the beginning, I was kind of sitting at like an 8 out of 10. And the way that it ended for Kate and Anthony specifically, we kind of hit like a 7.5 out of 10. But the middle parts were, I don't know. I didn't care about any of the side plots at all. I didn't like that this Jack dude was just there to mess with the Featheringtons, and now he's gone. And the Featheringtons are left without a man of the household again to help protect them. We do get the scene where Colin is talking to other gentlemen and says that he would never court Penelope or whatever, which is something that does happen. And Penelope and Eloise get in a huge fight, and Eloise somehow finds out that Penelope's lady Whistledown, and I just... While there is backlash against Penelope when it comes out, I feel like Eloise is one of the few people that doesn't berate her. And is just so... I mean, like I said, it's been a while since I've read these, but I feel like, or what the impression left in my mind since I last read them. I read them before the first season came out, so it was like Thanksgiving, December-ish. I guess not last year, because we're in 2022 now, so 2020. Because it was Christmas time that it came out. But I feel like Eloise, granted, when she came out, Eloise was in her book, and she was with Sir Philip, so Eloise wasn't even there when Penelope came out. So, because those, like, some of those books, the timeline overlaps. But I feel like she's just so in awe of Penelope and just proud of Penelope for keeping it a secret for so freaking long. So, and she doesn't, I don't know. I just don't know. Those two are one of the saving graces of this show. And to completely tear it apart at the end of this season is just not... I don't know. They had a fight in season 1 too, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not very eloquent in my words right now, but I don't know. And I might, because I don't have this scheduled up to go up until the second Saturday in April. So, I wanted to give time because I didn't want to have to do like a non-spoiler version and then a spoiler version. So I wanted to give people time to watch it. And hopefully people still care about Bridgerton when it comes out. But I don't know. These aren't my characters. So I might film another clip, like, thoughts after I've sat with the season for a few days or just thought about it more. I can say we did see Francesca a couple of times where she was with the family, and then she wasn't there for a lot of it. So once again, I don't know if but this time there wasn't the excuse of her going with that aunt in Bath or whatever. So I don't know if it's just the actress has other things going on or school or what, and the actress just can't be there on set very often, or if they just didn't write her background stuff to do. So I don't know what's going on with Francesca. but she's only like a year younger than Eloise. Because I feel like they come out at the same time. And so they're very close in age. I know that. But I don't know. I wanted more Newton. I wanted more Francesca. I did like the heart-to-heart that Anthony finally has with Violet. But still, the overall relationship with Anthony and his family just... I feel like from where we started, even going back to season 1 to now, I feel like there wasn't that much character growth. I don't know. He feels, and like, yes, he was admitting his love to Kate, but because it happens literally at the end of season 8, or season 2, it happened at the end of the final friggin' episode, I feel like there was we didn't see the character growth. We don't actually get to see who Anthony is now and see who Anthony is married to Kate and how they are as a married couple. I kind of got onto it, but I feel like I probably rambled like I tend to do. But I wonder, after season 2, what people who have not read the books think of this season, and how many of them are going to be intrigued enough on their own to pick up the book, and how much they might be affected by book readers saying and having issues with this. Because from, like I've mentioned, from what I've seen so far, I haven't seen any book readers, and I haven't gone out looking for it, but just from what I've seen, a lot of people are posting non-spoilery thoughts. And I saw a couple of the people that I love, Jess and Read Romance, and Jessica and Jen, have posted their thoughts already. They didn't take long, but I feel like a lot of them were able to watch it all Friday when it came out. So I'm going to be watching those probably tomorrow a little bit. But I don't know why you need to know this. But I definitely want to know what other people I know love this series think. And because I feel like I'm not alone from what I've seen on social media. But I don't know. Part of me is slightly bitter about it, and I kind of mentioned this before, but romance readers as a whole around the world put so much love into everything associated around Bridgerton when it was announced that it was going to be adapted by Shonda for Netflix. So much love and support has been put into this project by romance readers. And while they changed things and it wasn't like a complete exact for exact adaptation of the book, I feel like overall for season 1, and maybe part of this is people were just happy that it was adapted at all, even more so a historical romance that wasn't, the Bronte sisters, Jane Austen, the classics. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but how many freaking Pride and Prejudice do we need? Really? How many Emmas? How many, Jane Eyres? There's so much more to historical romance. But anyway, I feel let down by the writers. Did they even read the books? Or did they assign 1 or 2 people to read the books and be like, here are the key points? Or they listened to fans being like, what are your favorite scenes? And then they did like none of them. Like, oh, there has to be a bee sting. But it wasn't just a bee sting and Anthony freaking out. There was a reason that the bee sting happened. And it meant more in the storyline than here. It was just there and done. I feel disappointed. I feel disappointed by the writers. And I know I said it a lot earlier, but these are not my characters. And I don't want to discredit all of the work that people put into this show, because it is gorgeous. And I love that it's trending. I saw Julia Quinn posted that it was #1 on Netflix in the US, at least, and all these amazing things. And it makes me excited. But at the same time, they took something so magical and so beautiful and so close to my heart, and they just... And now I'm being a little more broader with historical romance, and they just... It feels tarnished to me now, which I don't like. And maybe I'm being too sentimental and too attached and too emotional over it, but for how much support the romance readers put into these people to help make sure that they succeed and get the word out and post about it constantly, and all of the videos I saw, all the social media posts, all the blog reviews, I saw so much in the romance community, and I saw it spread so much farther than the romance community. And then it just feels like they turned around and they went, thanks for getting us this high, but we don't need you anymore. And they just are doing whatever the hell they want now. And they missed the magic that is Bridgerton. And it's Kate and Anthony. And there was too much drama thrown into this. The scenario itself has enough drama. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling at you. I might film another clip and come back and see if my thoughts have changed. I am going to get ready for bed, and I am going to start reading The Viscount Who Loved Me, because I need my Kate and Anthony. I need the feeling that I get when I read not just romance, but historical romance in general. I need that. I need that in my soul. And I need it to not... I just need this. I need it. And I need the right Kate and Anthony. And I need what was missing from the show. And I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer. But I'm upset about some of these things. And they were not my characters. These are my characters. These are my loves. This is what is close to my heart. And I am really extremely nervous for seasons 3 and possibly 4. Because if they're going to go off on their own now and do whatever the hell they want, how much farther are we going to get away from the books? And I know it happens with TV shows. I know it happened with Game of Thrones, and it happened with True Blood, and it happened with all these shows. But this is different. This is different, to me at least. The way that historical romance is meant for readers to experience and to feel and to find a happy ending in. And be able to escape some of their, or at least me and a lot of romance readers, read for the escapism, read for the fantasy, we read romance because we want the guaranteed happy ending. And something I love about the Julia Quinn books, the marriage comes and then we get time with them as a married couple. We get to see the HEA. We get to feel the HEA. And it felt so incredibly rushed here. They hardly spent any time together. Too much pining. Too much time apart. It felt completely rushed, and it felt like, and there was so much else going on. I didn't care about any of the other freaking storylines because they were all just so freaking bonkers. But yeah, okay. I promise this time. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to cut this out, but I might cut this out. If you're seeing this, then I decided not to make another clip with more thoughts at the end of Bridgerton. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave what other comments, or if you feel differently about anything, like for sure, please reach out if you saw something differently, or if I got something wrong that I'm remembering incorrectly, please let me know. Because maybe I'm just going too emotional here. But I don't know. I feel disappointed in it overall. And while there were good moments and the actors were great and the music was great, I feel like the music wasn't quite as good as it was last season. I feel like some of the songs didn't quite fit where they put them, but they were still pretty orchestral covers of pop songs, so that was fun. But I don't know, a couple of them I was just like, of all the songs in the world that you could have chosen, why this one? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hello, I am back. It is several days after I have finished my binge of Bridgerton Season 2. And after taking some time to just kind of sit in my feelings, I reread The Viscount Who Loved Me. And I've also watched a couple of videos and looked at some other like Instagram reactions of the season. I just kind of wanted to put together something a little less emotionally charged and just kind of do a little sum up or wrap up of how I'm feeling now that the season is ended, and I've been able to kind of sit with it and really process everything that we saw. So, I mean, we'll get it kind of out of the way. I am still overall disappointed in it. The first 3 episodes and like the first like half, 3/4 of episode 4 I really enjoyed as well. And then I liked most of the final episode was more positive for me than negative. But I think one of my biggest issues is the first season, while there were a lot of changes, some for the better and some for the not, there were it's mostly for Daphne and Simon followed a good chunk of the plot of the book. I mean, there were changes, like I said, but overall, it still followed the plot. And I feel like with the teasers and the things that were released that I saw, I didn't go too much into spoilers and things like that, but I did watch the teaser trailer and watch some of the interviews with like Julia Quinn and producers that were a little less spoilery. And I did get I get a free subscription to Entertainment Weekly and things like that. So I read some of the articles in there. And so I guess because nobody was actively saying, hey, we're taking an even bigger departure from the books, I was expecting more of a similar structure, at least for Kate and Anthony, like they did with Daphne and Simon in season 1. The fact that it was very much a departure from that, and we weren't really told that going in, on top of the fact that a lot of the teaser trailers and teaser clips that were put out were scenes or pictures of scenes that book fans really, really wanted to see that were very important to the story of Kate and Anthony, or at least fan favorite events that happened, like the Pall Mall scene and the bee sting and things like that. And because a lot of the like teaser pictures and teaser trailers and clips like that were giving not only fans of Bridgerton, but fans of the book series, like, okay, they are, like, it was that, like, because I think I've mentioned it before, but there was that, I was very nervous in the lead up to season, like, from the moment I finished season 1 to season 2, just because this is my favorite Bridgerton book, and I was very nervous. But when I saw a lot of the clips and a lot of the teasers and what was kind of being talked about, I felt a lot more relaxed and less anxious about it. And I was really, really excited going into it until I kind of saw some of the non-spoiler reviews that people were putting out, or just overall general vibe of book readers that binged it that first day. And then it was just like, holy crap, what is going to happen? So I think because they almost it felt, and maybe this is a little too harsh, but it almost felt like book fans were tricked into watching this and expecting, like season 1, the overall arching main couple plot to follow the book pretty closely. And it didn't. It didn't. I think, looking kind of back, a lot of the book scenes, a lot of them that were shown, which I was kind of disappointed that so much of it was shown, and there weren't very many scenes from the book that weren't already teased. So that was slightly disappointing. But I feel like had they stretched out those moments, even if they were just going to stick with the precursor to the wedding, they weren't going to do the marriage of convenience in the second half of the book. I feel because that they crammed all of the like book scenes that people really wanted to see in the first 3 episodes. I feel like had they spaced them out a little bit better, or just kind of did some of them later in the season, it would have felt less, I feel like it would have felt less of a disappointment and a complete departure from what the book was. Because those first 3 gave everything that you wanted from 2 book readers for that they were looking for, it just, because there was that like 180-degree turn, that's where the disappointment came in, is because it was like, okay, here are your expectations. We're meeting them. Just kidding. We gave you what you wanted. Now we're going to do what we want, is what it kind of felt like to me. And I felt duped, really. And I mean, overall, most of the cinematography and the costuming was done. And I did have a couple of issues with the songs where they felt slightly out of place, especially the like orchestral versions of some of the pop songs. I was just like, that's a weird song to go here. But overall, I feel like it was still shot well and done well. It's just, I feel like if they didn't tease all of the book stuff, and I know, and I'm kind of like being slightly hypocritical here, because yes, teasing us on all the book stuff made the more cautious book fans like myself more excited to watch the series. I mean, let's be honest, I was going to watch it anyway, but more excited for it. And then the fact that it was almost all of it was in the first 3 episodes, and that was like pretty much it. I do think I don't know. I didn't like some of the side plots again. Like, while I didn't like seeing Marina and that Colin was still hung up on Marina, I love seeing Sir Philip. I cannot wait for them to do Eloise and Sir Philip's story. That's one of my other favorites. It's an epistolary romance, and I love Eloise. I did feel like some of the characters didn't feel like them. Well, not some. Most of the characters didn't feel like themselves. Some of them felt either too much the same in a bad way from season 1, and others felt like they were taking a departure from what their characters were. And I had read an article that said that they were going to kind of make Anthony and Colin a little bit more like the book versions, where they weren't quite so like, Colin wasn't as serious. He was going to be obsessed with food. Anthony was going to be a little bit more of that fatherly figure to the younger kids. We still hardly, like, we saw Francesca more, but we still hardly saw Francesca. And she's supposed to be out around the same time as Eloise. So I don't know what's going on there. But I don't know. Sometimes the drama felt like too much, and it felt like drama for drama's sake, which is a Shondaland thing. As a watcher of most of her shows, I do expect that. But at the same time, I did also expect this to be slightly different, because this is coming from such a beloved book series, and there has been so much support from book fans and romance fans about this series that it felt like we got you hooked, now we can do whatever we want. But the reason we were hooked is because it had those elements of the books that we all love so dearly in it. And I felt like the last 5.5-ish episodes were lacking in that. I also feel like a lot of the, like, the Bridgertons, I don't know if they're one of Julia Quinn's, I think, better series, but it's a longer running series, and there's a lot of, I love the Smith Quartet too, but I don't know if I can say it's my favorite, but I love the books. And one thing, like, the biggest reason why I love the books is the familial aspect, and of just the Bridgerton family, and Violet being such a great mom. And what's even great about specifically the Viscount Who Loved Me is we also get that really deep, really strong familial aspect from Kate, Edwina, and Mary. And I felt like that aspect was missing from Bridgerton. And while we had some really great moments, the Pall Mall scene when they danced at the ball nobody came to, it had some really good gems of familial moments. But it was, for me, it's almost the little things that you see day to day in the book that shows how strong of a family they are. And in the show, it almost feels like everybody's completely separate. Everybody's doing their own thing. And then they'll all come together and have this one really nice moment. I mean, but let's be honest. Somebody in the books, Eloise doing her thing, somebody would have known. Somebody would have noticed. If we're being completely honest, Eloise wouldn't have done that because that was too much of a risk. And while Eloise is very smart, she's a little more street savvy in the books than in the show. And so I felt like that was kind of out of character for her, just that she wasn't taking, if they were going to go that route, she would have taken the proper precautions to be protected going into the lower society areas, kind of a thing. Because while she does want to push against the constraints that are put on her as being a woman of high society, she also is aware of those constraints and what can happen if she becomes ruined and, all those types of things. I don't want this to just kind of be a rant, but I just need to get these out. But the Featheringtons, I feel like their plot was almost completely pointless. Almost completely pointless. And while it's nice that we got to see Lady Featherington stand up for her daughters in the end, she's always stood up for her daughters. While she may not be doing it the right way or a different way than everybody else in the ton, she has always been, her daughters have always been the priority, to get her daughters married well and out of the house. That has always been Mrs. Featherington's priority. And so the fact that they made her lose that and then find it again was upsetting to me, because, I mean, yeah, she's a gossiper and all this stuff, but I also wanted more Newton. Like, Newton needed to be a character in his own, and Newton loves Anthony in the books. So I don't know why they made him not like it would have been much better that if Anthony met Newton and Newton was immediately like, because it says the first time he meets him in the Viscount and I, Newton sits down and smiles at Anthony, and Anthony's just like, what is this dog? And, hi, what is this cat? Can you tell me? What is this cat? Hi, what's up? But yeah, so in my upsetness, I was like, I'm not buying any of their stuff. I probably will buy the tie-in, because while I feel slightly duped and let down and disappointed in how it goes, I feel like, had they not pushed for our expectations to be as high as they were as a book reader, and that's the thing. If they had just marketed as a drama, if they had made it kind of either in the teasers, clips, or interviews or something, if they had left it so it left book readers a little more cautious, I feel like it might have gone over well, the changes. But because I feel like a lot of, at least, I mean, and I didn't see some of the normal teaser trailers or whatever marketing was put to non-book people who watched Bridgerton, and maybe it was all the same, I don't know, but most of what I saw was marketed for book people. I feel like, had it not appealed to the book lovers to be like, don't be worried, we got you, look at all the great book scenes we're gonna have in this, and we'll take care of you, kind of a thing, and then they just were like, okay, here you go, here's what you said you wanted, and then they were like, now we're gonna do our own thing, we gave you what we wanted, that isn't what we want to do, we're gonna do it. And I feel like, had they spread the book stuff out, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just trying to wrap up, had they spread the book stuff out a little bit more so that it kind of kept us, because if we hadn't gotten the Pall Mall scene yet, but knowing that the Pall Mall scene was there, I would have been a little more anticipatory for, ooh, is it going to happen here? Is it going to happen here? When are we going to get the Pall Mall scene? And then if it would have happened in the angst of that horrible and ridiculous love triangle, it would have felt a little bit like, oh, at least they did the Pall Mall scene instead of just those couple middle episodes just being absolutely horrendous. But, they wanted to get emotional reactions out of people. And that's what they got. They hit my emotions. They made me react emotionally. Maybe not in the way that they intended to, but I mean, it did affect my emotions, and I did watch the whole thing. I probably most likely will be watching the future seasons. As much as in my emotions, I was like, I'm never watching it again. I probably won't rewatch this season. If anything, just the first few episodes. I don't know. I just overall feel disappointed, because and like I said in my earlier clips when I was vlogging while watching, the characters in the show and these characters are not the same people. They are not. I will always have the book. I will always be able to reread the book and go back to the Bridgerton family that I know and love. And it's hard, and I know a lot of people are probably better than I am at this, but it is hard even more so for me because I do have so much love in this book, and it is an elevated for me because I connect with so much with Anthony and Kate, with losing a parent while they're a younger age and being the oldest sibling. And yeah, so overall, I think I would say this is hard because I feel like comparing it to season 1, I feel like season 1 did a better job giving, as a book lover, me what I wanted from an adaptation. However, I feel like the parts that I loved in season 2 were at a higher tier than the parts that I loved in season 1. So I would say season 1, I can't remember what I said I rated it earlier. I want to say like a 7 or a 7.5. And I would probably say season 2 would kind of be in that same range. Maybe a 6.75 to 7. Because while the moments that I really loved, and I loved more than the moments I loved in season 2, the moments that in season 1, the lows that I had in season 2 were a lot lower than the lows I had in season 1. Plus, we needed more steam. I mean, nobody was badly criticizing season 1 for all the steam. I mean, they weren't really the best and most sensual of scenes. They probably could have been a little bit better and more intimate. What we needed was more of the steamy scenes, but they hit the tension, and for the most part the banter was great, and there were good moments of familial moments, but yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my 6.75 to 7 rating. And I think just season 1 is just a little bit above for me. But I am harsher because The Viscount Who Loved Me is my favorite Bridgerton book. But anyway, I'll stop rambling at you. Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you agree, disagree. I did try to look at some varying opinions to kind of help me figure out how I really felt. And while I didn't want it to affect how I felt, I did want to get that contrasting opinion to see if maybe I was overreacting or if I was reading it differently or something like that, or just to be able to kind of reassess how I feel about things. And I did get overly emotional. But that's okay. You know, that's what happens. That's why I love reading, and that's why I love the fact that they are taking the time to adapt romance novels, because a romance novel really has a way of affecting people's emotions and making you feel like you're a part of a bigger community and just accepted as who you are. And I love it. And so please keep adapting romance novels. We need more of it. And we need more historicals that aren't the big 3 ladies. Just saying. But anyway, thank you so much for watching me cry and rant. And then settle down a little bit. Feel free to like, subscribe, and like I said, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are in season 2. If you have any counterpoints to anything I said, or if you agree or disagree, just keep it nice and friendly. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye.